Ellie Rushforth. Ellie Rushforth, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
This has been a whirlwind week. Quick reality check. The United States Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. What is the immediate impact on New Mexico?
So it's a big question because the Supreme Court overturning Roe versus Wade has implications that are far-reaching, that impact abortion rights, certainly, but impact many of the fundamental rights that we have organized our lives around for 2 generations. And so practically here in New Mexico, in 2021, we removed the old unconstitutional abortion ban from our books. And so the provision of abortion care legally will remain the same here in New Mexico. So if you've got an appointment, keep it. And if you need an appointment, you can get one here. More practically, however, though, we know that New Mexico for many, many years has been a place where people can seek and receive high quality and compassionate abortion care. And as that is restricted and banned around the country, we're talking about around 36 million people in half of our states that just lost their legal protections for exercising their fundamental right for bodily autonomy. And so practically in New Mexico, we are going to experience, and we already are experiencing, a stressed infrastructure.
Let me ask you, Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham this week announced a series of executive orders. Republicans denounced these as a political stunt, but what is the legal impact of what she's done?
So executive action, executive orders in circumstances like this are incredibly important. And we applaud our governor and governors around the country who have taken important steps to protect patients and providers in their states. So this executive order did 2 things. First, it directed regulatory bodies that regulate healthcare providers to revisit their essentially reciprocal disciplinary actions. It's a little bit technical, a little bit wonky, but basically many healthcare providers are licensed in multiple states. And as these states criminalize and otherwise restrict abortion care and other reproductive health care, what this executive order is attempting to do is shield those providers who may experience essentially discrimination for providing healthcare. So ensuring that they're protected here in New Mexico at the licensure level.
So it's pretty in the weeds here, What is the big picture of what we're talking about? What is it that other states are criminalizing that we don't know about?
Yeah. So it's related to the second half of this executive order, which directed executive departments and agencies to not cooperate, essentially, with investigations into safe and legal abortion care. And so what we are facing around the country right now, states are not only passing civil and regulatory restrictions on abortion care that impact patients, providers, and their family members, they're also criminalizing basic healthcare and pregnancy. And so what we already know and what we've already seen is the criminalization of pregnancy outcomes. And unsurprisingly, those who are criminalized, investigated, and harassed are largely folks from communities of color, lower income communities, and immigrant communities. And so around the country, we are seeing laws passed that not only criminalize pregnancy outcomes, but turn people's bodies and their family members and their basic medical care into crime scenes. And so what many states are allowing to do are upending people's lives for basic medical care.
So I'm hearing you say criminalizing of pregnancy outcomes is like if there's a miscarriage, if something goes wrong, they're investigating this as a crime.
So a couple of different things. And what these other states have done is deputize healthcare providers, anyone in the healthcare system, and require folks in the healthcare system, folks in law enforcement, folks in state agencies, and our neighbors to investigate how our pregnancies progress, our activities during pregnancy. And many of these states have created felony penalties for pregnancy outcomes. And so clinically speaking, miscarriage management, miscarriage, and many pregnancy outcomes are clinically indistinguishable from abortion care. And we know that when folks are investigated for their health, for their pregnancies, not only do they fail to seek medical attention, but they run the risk of not being able to manage their own lives safely. And so many, when I say criminalize, when I say investigate, I really invite folks to think about what that means for an individual's life. So somebody you've never met, an entire stranger, could have reported you for a completely innocuous behavior, could have reported you for a pregnancy loss, could have reported you for any number of activities that you engage in while pregnant, or a family member who helps you get to the doctor or one of those circumstances, report you to law enforcement, who then get access to your cell phone history, your geotagging, if you visited certain physical locations. And so I think it's really important for folks to understand that even if ultimately an investigation does not result in a prosecution or incarceration, which is completely unconscionable for criminalizing somebody's pregnancy outcome, an investigation into your health and well-being can result in pretrial detention. It can result in job loss. It can result in you losing custody of your own children. And so these are really dire consequences of pregnancy criminalization that we frankly have not seen in this country, that we cannot anticipate in this country.
So let me ask you this. Women in New Mexico, people in New Mexico who are saying to their friends and family, strangers in other states, if you need help getting abortion care, come to New Mexico and I will help you. Are they running a risk of being prosecuted for that?
So while I am a lawyer, I will not be giving legal advice on this show. But what I will say is that the legal system is being weaponized in a way that we have not seen before, certainly with respect to private medical decisions. And so what other states are attempting to do, some of them have introduced legislation already, are attempting to attach civil, regulatory, and criminal penalties to helpers, to family, to neighbors, to abortion funds, to ride share programs. So
we're going to take that as a maybe, as not full legal advice, but a maybe.
Yeah, and so what I would recommend. Oh, go ahead.
Well, and we'll put some information on the website too. But you mentioned the repeal of that old abortion law. The state legislature and the governor's office here in New Mexico are firmly controlled by Democrats. There's no overturning this. There's no criminalizing of abortion that's going to happen anytime soon. But, for supporters of abortion rights, is there more that they think the legislature and the governor should do, say, in the coming legislative session?
Yes, I'm so glad to be talking about this, because one thing we can never afford to do is be complacent. And certainly one thing that has a lot of us really concerned right now are efforts at a national abortion ban. We know Republican leadership, we know anti-abortion extremists are ready and willing to pass a nationwide ban at their first opportunity. And so here in this state, I'll just reiterate, we can't afford to be complacent, and priority one here in New Mexico is to hold the line. We've had major victories under our belt, securing rights to contraception coverage, to non-discrimination against pregnant workers, and repealing this old ban. Now our job is to not only hold the line, but expand and protect access. And so steps to protect the physical security and privacy of patients, providers, and helpers. We have to eliminate cost barriers to sexual and reproductive health broadly. We need to protect providers, patients, and helpers from attacks that are against New Mexico public policy. And we need to shield New Mexicans from other states' unconstitutional, legally suspect, and dangerous extraterritorial overreach. And so what I'm hearing from leadership within our policymakers is, gratefully, everything is on the table. And I look so forward to working with policymakers and others in the reproductive health rights and justice world to ensure that abortion and reproductive health more broadly remains safe and legal here in New Mexico.
Thank you for that, Ellie. Rushforth will be following up on those developments as they happen, leading to the next legislative session. Thanks again.
Thank you so much.